This is Comet Picks by the Glick.
Yeah, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick. Thanksgiving is right around the corner.
Yeah, just about.
Well, for the U.S. at least, U.S. I think of turkey and then seeing friends. I don't really, care about anything else. That's what I like. Food. I like food.
Yeah, and like, what's more Thanksgiving than like zombies?
Zombies. Like zombies. What?
Yeah, like zombies, like eating everything, like us indulging in it's like in all sorts of like Thanksgiving style hedonism. It's like zombies, like eating everything that comes across their path.
I'm more like gluttony here. So, all right. So, what do you have in on store for us tonight?
Yeah, so like this is kind of like zombie centric or zombie adjacent, or not even related to zombies at all, depending on how you view the series. Because this is something I've been talking about for a good long while now, and it's my final thoughts on I Am a Hero. Now, longtime members might remember this when I first started talking about this, as Dark Horse released it back in early 2016, and I was thoroughly hyped for this series because it's like because at that point, and even like to this day, it's like Dark Horse's manga output has been kind of really conservative over the last couple of years, just releasing stuff from established artists or just spin-offs from like established anime. It's like anime titles. So to get a series like that didn't have like this kind of like a like that kind of pedigree. It's like I was like, okay, this is like the best hope for the future, for them going forward, because even though I'm a Hero had a TV and film adaptation in Japan, they hadn't kind of like made big waves over here. I mean, like I kind of knew that they exist, but like no one was talking about them. It's like like enough to reach my circles in any way. So I was kind of hoping that okay, this is gonna hopefully point the way forward for Dark Horse manga if it was successful. Well, here we are in the year of our Lord 2019, and we've reached the final volume of the series. And well, the good news is that I'm here talking about the final volume of I Am a Hero, in the sense that yes, it's like this Dark Horse didn't cancel it or put it on quote unquote hiatus. So that's good. It's like, is Dark Horse releasing a lot of stuff that's not from an established artist, or doesn't have an established anime manga tie-in? Well, depends on how you feel about Kenji Tsuruta, I guess. But so it's really much kind of a stretch here. But the fact that I'm a Hero, it's like it's here and it's done. It's like I am thoroughly grateful and really glad that that the release strategy paid off for this. Because one of the things that I learned about this is that it's Dark Horse release schedule for it in the 2-in-1 omnibus was actually planned by the person who penned its English adaptation, Philip Simon, who's also one of the one of the editors at Dark Horse Comics proper. It's like, and I heard this from Dark Horse from editor extraordinaire Carl Horn at Finame a couple of years back. Had the series been released in single volumes, I am not sure that it would have been able to maintain enough interest to reach the end, because much as I have enjoyed this series over its run, and if you've been reading my reviews of it for the past 3 years now, then you'll know that I enjoyed it. But it is a very slow burn. It's like had the series, I mean, even at 22 volumes, it's like I mean, and reading these volumes in a 2-in-1 omnibus format, there's the feeling that had we been getting these in one volume at a time, it would have felt very, very slow. It's just there's mangaka Kengo Hanazawa really takes his time with telling this story, and reading it in this omnibus format, I think that's the ideal format for the series. Having read it if I had read it in single volume format, it would have been wow. This is good, but wow, man, I kind of wish like more would be happening here. So so there's that. But the other thing is that I it's like as a committed a trade waiter as I am, I would have loved to have read this like from the start in Japan because the start of this series is something it is really like special and kind of genius the way it handles itself because it's like this the very first volume like the series itself focuses on quasi-filled mangaka Hideo Suzuki. He had his own series that a couple people liked and but it got canceled after its second volume, and now he's working as an assistant for a much more popular a manga creator. Like he's got a girlfriend. She's cool when she's sober, but she's a really mean drunk and all. And and when we first introduced him, like he's doing his like safety dance as he gets into his apartment, and your impression as you meet him is like when he's talking to himself, talking to his imaginary friend, and then when he busts out his gun and says, "I am a hero," you're kind of like, okay, this is kind of creepy. It's like even by Japan standards, because Japan has the most strict gun laws in the world. It's like, and this guy has a gun, and he's also seems to be kind of off as well. So it's like you're kind of wondering, like, where's Hanazawa going with this? And for the first volume, like we're just seeing him go through his daily life and him like just suffering like like minor dignities of being told like stop talking to yourself like while he's working and like imagining like like hey, I'm saying these great things about the meaning about how manga is like a meaningful like medium and all. It's like, and he's wow. It's like and he's but like a lot of this stuff is just kind of like in his head, and you're kind of wondering like, are we witnessing like the birth of a mass murderer, like some guy who's just gonna like flip out and it's like and just like go on a murdering spree because he's got a gun. It's like, and this first the chapters that make up this first volume, it's like really sell that idea. Like even when like he witnesses it's like a taxi like hit someone, and then this person gets up and starts walking away. You're kind of like, okay, this is either like some real supernatural shit or he's losing his mind, and everything we see at that point basically just yeah, he's losing his mind. But the thing is though, it's like that if you're reading these like this series, like that's never a consideration because you've either heard about this series as a zombie manga, or you may have just like flipped over the back and seen the pull quote from Jason Thompson that says the best zombie manga ever, and you realize that oh wait, this isn't actually like, in his head. This is actually happening. It's like he isn't crazy. It's like like the zombies are coming, and this guy's got like one of the few guns in Japan that can actually like defend himself from them. So yeah, it's like much as I live my trade waiting ways. It's like this is kind of a series I think really would like would have much as I've enjoyed it, would have read even better from the start. The kind of thing that really like pulls in a committed audience, just saying, "Oh wow, it's like this isn't going where I thought it was at all. I want to see where it's going from here." So yeah, that's the start of the series. It's like it's a portrait of a mentally disturbed individual, where it turns out that no, it's not in his head. Zombies are real, and it's like, and they're coming to get Japan as well. And what sets I Am a Hero apart from other zombie manga is that its zombies are really quite different. I mean, obviously they kind of subscribe to like the whole fast zombie approach, but the thing is that they're also like constantly like repeating like bits of dialogue from their past lives. Basically, the idea is that these zombies have been kind of like stuck in like the final moments of their lives, and they're just kind of like like repeating like what they were doing at the very end there. It's like even if it's just like they're like like consummating like their love and committing themselves to each other, and that's kind of what saves Hideo when he gets into a very awkward taxi ride in Omnibus 2. It's like it's it's like it's also it's just kind of horrifying right there. Just the idea that hey, yeah, it's like you're a zombie, but yeah, you're stuck in like the last like repeating the last few moments of your life as long as you remain a zombie and all. It's like and it's like, but it's like Hanazawa does even more like weirder stuff with this because even though it's like the series because this is one of the few series that actually like tries to does the really inadvisable idea of trying to dig into the idea of where does the zombie apocalypse come from in the first place? What are the reasons behind it? I mean, no, we don't need to know the reason behind the zombie apocalypse, like because it's like hey, like it's like hey, it's like the idea is like hey, there's zombies now. It's like oh, and now man is like reduced to his basest state, and that the real villain of the series is man itself. Well, in I'm a Hero, that's kind of true. I mean, the first real community that Hideo encounters like is one of those bad communities, kind of like the governors in like in The Walking Dead. But as it turns out, that we learn a lot of like interesting stuff about the it's like about like why the zombie apocalypse is happening, and like that there might be some kind of like higher intelligence behind it. I mean, like either from like the people who've been absorbed into like this zombie hive mind that we learn exists like as the series goes on, and hey, it turns out that the idea that aliens maybe like put like manipulating this thing from the beginning, that's it's that idea is never the trigger is never pulled on that idea, but it's never but the finger's never taken off the idea as well. It could very well be, but it's like we're never offered any conclusive proof of that. But what the series does offer as it goes on is it's a very interesting protagonist in the form of Hideo. It's like who is like he never really becomes cured of his mental instability. He has like this crippling self doubt, and even then, like throughout the series, even to the very end, but also it's like he still can't get it together like long enough to save those closest to him. I mean, it's like his like the bit where he in volume 4 when he finally like shows hey I really do know how to use this and I can save like those closest to me, and when Murai like just realizes like hey even then I'm still fucked, I'm gonna jump off this bridge but I'm gonna leave you my bacon. It's still like a heartbreaking moment, especially when the nurse that he gets to know, like Sugumi Oda, like she like pulls in at the very end to save his ass, and that's well, like there aren't really a lot of recurring characters in the series. I mean, there's like listen, there's the nurse, but the real co-lead in the series is Hiromi, a high school girl that Hideo meets in volume 2, and she kind of like almost saves him when he's like losing his shit in the middle of a forest. It's like in Omnibus 2, and they kind of like form this bond. I can sense that hey it's like he's trying to he's trying to save her, but like she's got her own like capabilities as well, and and like it's just that kind of like hey that kind of like savior saved relationship that kind of fuels things. But then you found that Hiromi actually has like some kind of connection to the overall zombie hive mind when she's quote unquote bitten. It's like, and I also want to point out, just digress real quick to point out that early on, it's like I'm a Hero has some of the best double page spreads I've seen in comics in recent memory. Just a sense that Hanazawa will just devote like double pages, 2 pages, 2 full pages to showing us what's like what's going on in the scene, and also but also just like like set up just utter normalcy, and then have it displayed. So it's just when like Hideo and Hiromi find themselves like caught up in the sweep to go to the fifth station on Mount Fuji because some rumor has popped up saying that oh no, like the virus won't spread through like thin air, but and so you got all these people going there, and then it turns out that oh well, there's no limit to how the virus spreads, especially when it's like a little baby biting people on their ankles, a literal ankle biter. I swear to God. And this double page spread that just shows them people like just like normal, and then another double page spread where it's like people are like coming like what's going on here? It's like someone's biting me, and it's like and then it goes then zeroes in further to show you that oh it's this little baby that's biting things like that kind of like tension. Like it might seem extravagant to use like double page spreads to decompress and to show this information, but it works magnificently early. It's like early on, maybe not quite as much as the series goes on because I think like he gets a better idea on how to manage pacing. But early on, it's like these sequences of double page spreads are just like a glorious example of how to make indulgence work. But overall, I mean, like the series also takes like digressions to like showing us how it's like a group of survivors focuses like tries to make things work in a smaller town. It's like and how they eventually come back to prominence in the latter volumes. Also, how one of Hideo's manga making colleagues, someone who was apparently like really inspired by him back in the first volume, turns out to be like a genuine hero, the kind of like badass, not really badass, just the kind of like arrogant smartass whose confidence like you would want to follow. Like shows up. It's like in Omnibus Volume 9 proper. It's like Nakata. It's like, and even though it's like he seems like kind of a dick in his brief appearance in the first omnibus, like in the normal parts of the first omnibus, when Hideo is like talking with his manga editor, and this guy Nakata just shows up and says, "No, it's like I love your work. Like this is how like how a real moe manga should work." It's like and yeah, it's like and to see this guy pop up later on, it's like as like like and as the kind of hero that you would expect from the series, not the kind of hero like the series necessarily deserves, but it's it's really it's really interesting, and like it helps fuel the series. I mean, it's like but even then, like the series has its problems. I mean, in the sense that there's lots of it kind of goes like I said, there's that slow burn that I mentioned, like the fact that like if this series had been published in single volumes, oh man, it's like I'd be talking about how much better it reads right now. It's like going into this final volume. It's like, but also then there's that really inadvisable hookup between Hideo and Hiromi, like in volume 9, which it's like okay, it's like I can understand that that there's going to be some kind of like like these relationships or like sexual tension formed. It's like between like survivors of like traumatic events like this, and it makes sense when Hideo like has his encounter with it's like with the nurse Tsugumi, but when he has it with Hiromi, no, not so much. It kind of feels just a little like indulgent in the sense that hey, it's like hey, the antisocial manga creator type. Hey, you can get it's like you can get your high school girlfriend like as well here. And that's like no, I didn't want to read this. It's not necessary. We could have gone without it, but even then, I will confess that I will admit that Hanazawa does make it like the encounter as unsexy as possible, and it also like feeds into the climax as well, in the sense that it's like that Hiromi, it's like she has she's got her own issues. Like she is real to be like really vindictive as well, not like a passive protagonist, but someone who just like really, but who can't let a grudge go. It's like even when it may not be like fully invested in her direction. So, and that's and this is key when she lets herself be absorbed by the zombie hive mind in volume 10. And then but then we see the consequences of that action in the final volume, because the final volume, so I guess this is what I'm really want to talk about here. It's like the majority of it is a supremely well executed action movie. Hideo is like going through it's like is going through Tokyo, trying to he wants to rescue Hiromi from this like giant zombie being that she's been absorbed into. Problem is that he doesn't know how to do it, and all he's got is his slug gun to do it. And also the further catch being that he eventually gets on the bad side of Miss of Tsugumi's sister, who has her own issues as well, as we found out earlier on. And when she sees him, well, she she's going to ruin his day, for lack of a better term. At least that's what she wants to do. But well, we'll see how that goes. That being said, it's like it's like it all leads up to Hideo on a scaffold, having to deal with with the zombie hive mind, being it's like being really angry at what he's been doing, because well, I mean, when you see like this giant, it's like a giant massive like flesh creature with a bunch of eyes poking out of it, you're kind of and you've got a gun, you're thinking like, well, what should I do with this? I'm going to shoot that thing. Problem is that when the one mind that's still sentient in there is your high school girlfriend, well, that's not going to go the way you want. And that being said, like on the other side of things, like on the building opposite this scaffold that Hideo found himself in, well, Nakata and his crew, including the survivors from the small town, are trying to get to the top of the building to in advance of the zombie horde that's against them. Catch being that they don't have a pilot, but the thing is there might be two pilots in there. One is Tomobechi, the one of the survivors from the small town, and also Asada, the it's like the quasi blonde haired like quote unquote savior that's been helping people survive in this building for a while. Catch being that they've also got to deal with the quasi sentient zombie I guess you say strongman, the Kurusu type. And there's lots of revelations about what it means to be that kind of like sentient Kurusu type here. And also, just like how Hideo interacts with these characters when it's like when he's like only able to see them from across the way via his scope. There's the as far as action movie stuff goes, it's like this first three-quarters of this volume is fantastic. Like it's just like the pacing is spot on, and it's like, and the logic behind it is really great as well. It's like, and in the end though, it's like I think that just about everyone kind of gets what they deserve. So before we get to the finale, so yeah, so as I was reading this, I was like, I was really thoroughly immersed in it, and like this is one of those things where I just I sat down, read through this with no other distractions, and thought, man, this is great. And then we got to the final like quarter of the volume, and okay, I don't want to say that like this was kind of a letdown, but I think that the last quarter, or is it a fifth really? It's like probably I don't know. It's like it's yeah, I think it's probably a fifth really. Um, yeah, let's call it a fifth. Um, that it's like it that like this final thing just kind of it man, what am I trying to say here? This last section of the series, like after the grand helicopter escape, just kind of depends on how willing you are to ascribe meaning to this, like to this last part of the series, because while we get one like aside to show how like the group survives, we also have to we also get these chapters showing how the solo individual survives. And I think it kind of just depends on like how willing you are to like to search for meaning in this kind of setup, because we don't get any specific answers about the zombie invasion, about what it means, or whether there really were aliens behind it. It might still be that the aliens might just be taking their time and all, but it's like this. But like the group explanation I think is solid. The sole survivor explanation is kind of what you have. It's what I think we're expected to find more meaning in. Like this is a guy who spent the majority of the series just not finding like just running away from humanity, or not running away from humanity, but just finding himself thrust into like finding meaning with his encounters. And it's like, and now he's just like left to his own devices. It's like he was convinced that he was the hero of his story, but in the end, he's just kind of like left to his own left to survive on his own. I mean, there are, I guess, it's like the idea is that it's like you're never a hero in your own mind. It's like you're always a hero. It's like to other people. To try and think otherwise is to risk self destruction, or just risk like a terrible solitary life that you can't sustain on your own terms. That's I guess that's the message here. It's like yeah, it's like you can declare yourself a hero all you want. You can even have a gun to end the meat, or rather the means to declare yourself a hero. But it's not something that you can declare yourself. It's always someone else that has to declare you the hero. To do that, to do otherwise, to declare yourself the hero, is just to risk destruction of yourself, or to like risk like a terrible, lonely, meaningless life. It's like devoid of human contact otherwise. That's I don't know. I guess that's the message right there. It's like, and I can understand that. And on those terms, like the final volume works. But the series itself is, like I said, it's like it's got some incredible action sequences. It's like some really like some interesting thoughts on what a zombie apocalypse would look like in Japan, and also in other parts of the world. And it's like, and overall, it's like I think and it's a good character study of someone who clearly has mental issues, and just how he struggles with them, and if he can't quite overcome them, it's like in the very end. So that sound kind of depressing, but I think that it's like that's kind of like true to the series modus operandi from the start. So I'm a hero. I recommend it. It's like it's 11 volumes. It's like in length. thanks to Dark Horse's U.S. release of the series, and I highly recommend like people check this out. It's like, I mean, not just because hey, maybe it's like this will get us like other series from like others like other unique strange series from the publisher, which well, we'll see how that goes. But just because it's a good series on its own terms, and yeah, reading this, I do kind of want to see how the movie and the TV series kind of panned out as well. So there you go. I'm a Hero, worth it, and maybe you'll see it on the best of list at the end of the year, maybe. John, so any thoughts on your end about all this?
So maybe on the best of them. Um, yeah, I don't really. I think the big question I have here is so the TV is. You said there's TV and movie coming out?
That came out. I know that
It's out. Okay.
yeah, it's like I know that there's a movie. I don't know much about the TV series. I think I saw it on IMDb, but as far as I don't know, like maybe you can watch the TV series easily, the movie easily, or I don't know. It's like I know they exist, but I haven't actually seen them myself.
Ah, I
So
see. Are these Japanese productions?
yes, they are.
Okay, so your mileage may vary, and maybe we could figure it out, and we'll give you guys an update in the next time. Do you know what you're going to be talking about next time? Or will just be the mystery subject, and you'll have to stay tuned.
Jeez, it's probably going to be my final thoughts on it's like on Black Science, but it could very well be my thoughts on Paper Girls or even The Wild Storm, depending on how I'm feeling. Because hey, I think this next one. Wait, no, this one is going to be going up around the 20th. So I guess next one will be going up around the first week of December, I think.
Yeah, that'll be the 4th, and then the 18th, and then we'll be in 2020.
Yes.
How
Oh
about
man,
that?
this is gonna be weird. It's like I think that after this next one, then the next podcast might be actually about House of X and Powers of X. But we'll see how that goes because we still have stuff to coordinate about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, yeah, definitely on the radar. Those are really hot selling volumes, and the trades come out in December. Is that right?
Yeah, it's like Amazon has them coming out on Christmas Eve actually,
Hmm.
but but yeah, it's like this. But the House of X, Powers of X, that's absolutely gonna be done because as you know, I'm a huge like X-Men fan, and so are you, John, and so is Myron as well. 'Cause so yeah, we're gonna try and maybe do like a big 3-person thing on that. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, and we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, later's.